Yeah, it's always a great day every year. A lot of optimism, a lot of energy, and it's just again nice to see everybody and get outside. Too much office time over the last couple months. It's we're used to being outside, and again, just a fun day. Guys came in fit and excited about a new year. One that I know the expectations have now kind of changed here a little bit, and in a lot of ways that's what we signed up for. But kind of the goals and the standard is very similar to what we started with this year or last year. We want to be in the postseason, and we want to compete for trophies. But we know this is a very different year with different opportunities. So just, again, optimism and looking forward to getting to know some of the new guys and pushing this club even further than we did last year.
Coach, I know every year is different, bigger than possible, like you said. For the fans, every year we game Western Conference Finals have been a bust. Is that?
Yeah, it doesn't work that way. That'd be great, but there's a whole process and there's twists and turns, and to get to that point last year, there was a lot that happened, and there's going to be a lot that happens throughout this season that we need to navigate, and each year is so different in what that looks like. So yes, we'd like to have a similar year. As we said, we understand the expectations have changed, but our goals are very similar than they were at the beginning of last year. And it's, again, put ourselves in the postseason, go after every tournament to win a trophy that we're in, whether it's CONCACAF, Open Cup, Leagues Cup, and again, be in the postseason and put ourselves in a good position if we are getting into the postseason, that we're playing at a high level, and we can ultimately go as far as we can go. But again, not a lot has changed in the goal setting for us.
Coach, the last time we talked, we were in LA. You've had some time now. Do you like the picture that was painted last year on your first year here? You as an artist?
Do I like the picture that's painted of the team?
Just in general, your first year here in Houston, everything you achieved.
Listen, I don't have a lot of interest in going into last year. Other than that, I think it was a successful year, and anytime you win a trophy and bring a trophy back to the city, and make our goals as far as getting into the postseason and pushing this club off the field, I think, and putting us in a better light, and bringing expectations up, bringing more fans and more awareness and more media coverage out to this club. In those kind of three buckets, I think we're moving. We move the club in the right direction. Yeah, and that's not me. That's everyone involved in this project. So, but now we have to do it again, and it'll be a difficult task. Again, we won't catch anybody by surprise this year, so the games themselves get more difficult. Teams start to figure out what we're trying to do now, and so it's very important for us to evolve, and that's everywhere, the business side, on the soccer side, and the coaching, to make sure we're not staying still, because it's a very, very dangerous place to live in professional sports if you're going sideways. We got to push and get better, or we won't have a chance to have the success that we had last year.
And what must the team do now in this preseason to make sure you guys aren't easy to crack?
Well, we really only found ourselves. We didn't really find ourselves until maybe 2/3 into the season, where we finally found about how we're going to go about the game on the field, and we were very clear in kind of the game model and how we were going to play over the next few years. So that took the twists and turns and a lot of adaptations to get to that point. now that we're here and we understand who we are in a better way, now it's kind of getting more granular in that and really getting detailed within who we are to get us to move us further along on the field. And that's an exciting kind of thing, because last preseason, if you go back, we didn't know who we were. We were going to find it out. Now we know who we are. So now it's about the details, building depth, and making sure we're still growing within who we are.
And then last one for me. Sorry. You have Sebas Pereira back. Yesterday saw him. You were motivating him to push harder.
He's back.
What's the connection?
He's back. Connection's fine. You know, he's back, and he's, I think, excited about being here, and we're excited to have him back. So we'll go out there every day and evaluate him, see where he's at, see how he fits into kind of us now as opposed to early in the season. Right? He didn't have the luxury of playing with this group, as I said, when we figured out exactly how we're going to go about things. So it'll be interesting to see him over the next couple weeks and early into the season to see how he fits in.
Ben mentioned that he's hoping that Ferreira fill in for Corey's exit. But if not, he said you guys are looking to maybe find another forward. Have you asked him for any signings specifically?
It doesn't work that way. I don't go in and say, Pat, I need to. We're collective. We know what we need and where we want to go and what types of players that we want to add. And this job, or particularly Pat's job and Asher's job, that's a constant. Always trying to push and get better profiles in here, or guys that can compete with our crew and make us better. As I said, it goes back to the theme of, like, if you stand still, you're dead. And so we have to keep moving, and a big part of that is bringing in competition or some high-end talent. And we're, yes, always looking for that.
Having said that, Pat was pretty clear that if you're thinking bringing another Ferreira, that's really not going to happen. Going into this season with practically almost the same team as last year, is chemistry good enough to get you over the hump to win the championship, or do we need more talent?
We always want. Here you go with these expectations, right? So
you play to win, right?
Yeah, of course we do. And my response is we want to get better, and we need to push on that end as much as possible to make sure that we have real competition out there, and we're adding the highest level player possible for the Houston Dynamo. The team we have right now and the players here, right, this is not it. Okay, just because we don't have, some additions on day, day two of preseason doesn't mean this is what it looks like this year. And we talk about how long a season is, and the twists and turns, and the transfer window now, and the transfer window in the summer. So there's plans, and we all want everything right now, but sometimes it takes a little bit of time to really get the right players in that make sense for us on the field, culturally. But putting that aside, it's a good group. And you saw that last year. And there's kind of the players themselves, but also the system and the game model. As I talked about, it took us a while to figure it out. And now it's about fine-tuning that and making that even more specific and more detailed for the players so we can have more success. And then sprinkling in some new players that we have already. And we got some good youngsters coming on, and we got some injured guys coming back that will add to the group. So it's not completely the same group. There'll be some new, some guys that need to step up. Corey's a big miss. Teenage, not a lot of fun to watch those guys go out the door. This is professional sports, and again, Corey did a great job, but we think we have some other guys that can fill in for that.
You mentioned the youngsters. Kieran practiced with the first team last season, or trained with the first team last season. What did you see in him, and just to reaffirm him coming?
Yeah, Kieran's a guy, because he's one of our own. We've known him for a while, so we know his qualities. So this isn't a real surprise of kind of what he gives us here, because he's been here for the summers and he's trained with us last year. Yes, yeah, and I was in D.C. and I'd watch him at Georgetown all the time. So we're very, very familiar with him. Great lungs, run forever, up and down, left-footed, kind of a wing back or a left back in kind of our model. But technically very sound and clean, and again makes his mind up when he does things in a clear way. Young, hungry, he's going to be great. He's going to be great, and it's always nice signing homegrowns. I love it. At DC, it was one of the highlights of it is watching these guys come in, and then it's up to us and it's up to them to now grow into a spot where they can be on the field. And I think he's one that, is it this year? We'll see. I'm always open to it. But some of these guys, it takes a year and you don't know when. And Brooklyn looks really good so far. Talking about another homegrown. Really good training today, and he's put on some weight. He's looking stronger than I've seen him in a while. So again, that's part of the fun of these seasons is you don't know on day one who's going to be a pivotal piece in the season. But I know I have an open mind about whether it's Sebas Ferreira coming back or it's Kieran Sargent or Brooklyn. That's what the beauty of this. We'll find out on the field, and we have a long preseason, a lot of games going down to Mexico in a few weeks to test ourselves again against some Mexican competition, and we'll find out. We'll find out which guys are ready, and then we'll put those guys on the field and adapt.
New assistant coach Juan Guerra.
Yeah, Juan.
What did you know about him coming in to this year, and
Not a lot.
what do you think to bring into the table?
Not a lot. He came on our radar late in this process, and that's why you go through the interview process. And he came across my desk from some people that said he was a really interesting guy and maybe sees the game in a similar way than we do here and how we play. In the interview process, it was very, very clear that he was the right guy for this job. Had a few with him and a bunch of chats after our initial interview, and he just seemed like he had the right energy, and he sees the game in the way that I see it and how I want this team to look like, and hopefully he can add to that. Again, when we talk about knowing who we are and now pouring a little gasoline on it and get more detailed and get more granular and that's where he's going to help us. He's been playing in a very similar style for a while, so he's going to have new exercises, new ideas to make sure that he's pushing us in the coaching office to give us, again, those new ideas. And in the theme of, go sideways, it's not going to happen. We need to, and sometimes you get better on the field and with players or profiles of moving us up, and sometimes you need to bring in somebody that will poke us and make us sure that our staff is better and we're moving in the right direction.
Was Brendan Burke's exit planned?
It wasn't planned. Down the stretch it was planned. He had an opportunity to get back to where he's from and a great deal with a good club, and it was something I think him and his family really wanted to take. It was left on good terms. I didn't push him out the door, and I think he had a great time here and loved the staff and everything we did. This was just an opportunity that he just couldn't pass up. Going back home, a really good deal. So we're happy with his happy with the decision. We would love to have him, but we're happy for his family that they are doing that, and he did a great job here. And Juan's different, so we'll that's always healthy too.
Last one, Coach, if you don't mind. Personally, how do you feel in the second year in Houston? Are you getting comfortable? Are you comfortable?
I'm comfortable. Yeah, as far as my the difference again with this preseason and last is my three children and my wife are here, and they've got a half a year into the school district, and my wife is figuring out the lay of the land. So we're much more settled. From a personal standpoint of knowing the city a little bit more, and I look forward to this year finding more about the city and kind of getting involved in the city a little bit more. Last year was very difficult because it was there was so much to do and so much focus on getting this team to where it needed to be. But I've told myself to make sure this year I find some ways to kind of look at the city in a different way and kind of look for some organizations or things to get involved in. But that's it's kind of, we still want to work as much as possible here, but yeah, get to know the city a little bit more.
Coach, you mentioned evolving.
Yeah.
And I listened to what you said. I think it's a great message for leaders in general. If you stand still, I think you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And relative, we talk about where's like goals and expectations. How do you keep calm with those expectations that you may bring on yourself? It may come from leadership. It may come from the fans.
Yeah.
Help us mentalize that because it can be stressful, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah, look, we all live it. We all live with expectations of ourselves, and we all have job stresses. Everybody here has the same thing. So, personally, I've done this long enough. I've lived with kind of the head coaching world long enough that I've got my methods to stay even keel. Whether it's family, whether it's exercise, whether it's sneaking off to an art museum. I find my ways to recharge throughout these years, and you never perfect it. You can't perfect it in a job like this. It's the ups and downs and the management level on a human. It's very, very hard to kind of always stay even keel and not have the ups and downs. But it's also what I kind of love about it, and the twists and turns and the turmoil of it. I also embrace that, and I'm just looking forward to this year. Good. Okay. Thanks, guys.